Good evening. It's Tuesday, December 21st. We have several big stories in the news today.
Earlier today, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms announced the return of the indoor mask mandate, and President Biden explained how the federal government will fight the new Omicron variant.
Reporter Haley Mason kicks off our evening news rewind with our top story.
Rick, we know that first action is coming from Mayor Bottoms, who is sending the city of Atlanta back to the, quote, yellow zone and reinstating that mask mandate effective immediately. We're here at a testing site off of Northside Parkway run by Viral Solutions. They're supposed to wrap up at 6. You can see for the first time this evening, the line is shortening as people try to get tested before the holidays. Lines at Metro Atlanta COVID testing sites are growing longer a few days before Christmas.
We haven't seen it spread this quickly and this fast.
The sweeping Omicron variant leading Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms to reinstate the citywide mask mandate. The city moving back to the, quote, yellow zone, meaning masks must be worn inside all public places, including private businesses. The state health department says counties with the top cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are first Fulton County, followed by Gwinnett, then Cobb, then DeKalb, and Clayton.
I think it's come to a shock to a lot of people that are fully vaccinated and or boosted that they can indeed still catch the Omicron variant.
Patrick Emad is vice president of Same Day Health, which offers free and at cost COVID tests at 2 Atlanta sites.
There's a lot of breakthrough cases that we're seeing on a daily basis. So a little bit of a surprise and shock to everyone, but it's good to know that everyone's fully vaccinated and is only having slight symptoms.
He says his team is turning out results in 24 hours. He says they're seeing more positive results as well. And the AP reports that across the state, COVID hospitalizations have risen 50% in the last month. More than 1,200 people were hospitalized statewide Monday alone. Most are unvaccinated. And as people began to travel for the holidays, Dr. Anthony Fauci says be careful and prudent.
But be careful when you go to the airport, because that's usually a crowded, congregate indoor setting. Keep your mask on at all times when you're in settings like that.
And if you have questions about how should I safely gather for the holiday, Dr. Fauci, understanding that people want to be with their family members, he's saying small family gatherings of fully vaccinated family members should be okay, still encouraging testing. But of course, large gatherings, especially without masks, he is strongly discouraging this holiday season. Reporting live off of Northside Parkway, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Thank you, Haley. The surge is coming at an awful time for restaurants relying on the holiday rush. This weekend, many local restaurants began closing their doors after staff members tested positive. CBS 46's Crystal Bowie is live in Atlanta after talking to some business owners. Crystal.
Rick and Sean, over here is one of the spots that is closing because of employees testing positively for COVID-19. Now, this is extremely difficult because the Paycheck Protection Program is over, and this could affect everyone's bottom line. As the Omicron variant surges,
we've been closed for 2 days, two days of service.
Over the weekend, restaurants all over Georgia posting on social media they're temporarily closing due to positive COVID-19 cases among staff.
This pandemic doesn't have a natural endpoint for a lot of people.
Ticonderoga Club in Atlanta lost crucial business from customers for 2 days.
This is seems to be tearing through Atlanta like a wildfire. I know of many restaurants that closed suddenly.
Less than a mile away, Field Day, an everyday market in Old Fourth Ward, is in a similar boat.
We had to close down on Sunday. We had a staff member test positive.
They plan on doing a deep clean of the restaurant and will not open up again until after Christmas.
We had a good fall. We were thinking things were turning in the right direction, and then just to sort of be sideswiped by this new variant.
Some worry, even more than 20 months since the pandemic began, they will continue to have to adapt to stay in business and serve customers as well as they can.
The pandemic has never ended for us. There have been moments of reprieve, but it's never really ended.
Well, the hope from some of these restaurants is if you do have the money for the holidays, if you can buy some gift cards for the restaurants, that will help them get through the year. Reporting live in Atlanta tonight, Crystal Bowie, CBS 46 News.
Chris working to track down whomever shot a man inside the AMC Theater at Phipps Plaza. APD just released these new videos showing the suspect walking around Phipps last night. The suspect is wearing a black jacket, a white hoodie. Officers say the suspect and victim got into an argument over a seat in the theater while watching Spider-Man: No Way Home.
When the suspect got to the movie had already started, proceeded to the seat, and their seat was occupied. And some type of argument ensued over the seat. And again, instead of just going to get a movie attendant to help resolve it, the shooter decided to use a handgun that he had on his person and shot the victim one time. And
Police say the victim is in stable condition, being treated at a local hospital. If you recognize the suspect, call APD.
New tonight and only on CBS 46, the state's Ethics Commission is opening a campaign finance investigation into a former Atlanta mayoral candidate.
The Georgia Secretary of State's office began looking into Kirsten Dunn after a CBS 46 investigation uncovered more than a dozen criminal charges in her past. One question remains tonight. How did she get on the ballot in the first place?
CBS 46 investigative reporter Rachel Polanski has been digging for answers. Rachel, what have you found out?
Believe it or not, when a person decides to run for office in Georgia, they do not have to undergo a background check. All they have to do is fill out and sign this notice of candidacy and affidavit. However, this document does hold some power, and it's likely that it will become the crux of the Secretary of State's investigation.
I just feel determined.
We introduced you to Atlanta mayoral candidate and convicted felon Kirsten Dunn last month, whose lengthy rap sheet includes charges of fraud, theft, and tampering with government records as recent as 2015. We also introduced you to some of Dunn's former employees and campaign staffers who say she never paid them.
I 100% fell for it, and then now I'm on the end of being scammed.
She played a lot of us, like we were all victimized.
Since our first report aired, more people have come out of the woodwork, including Janet Scott Mayfield, who invested $44,000 into one of Dunn's business ventures and says she did not see a penny in return.
It makes me feel pretty sad because we all work for our money, and she knew it was for ill intent.
She's really good with her words.
There's also Roosevelt Sears III.
I feel tricked, bamboozled.
Another Atlanta mayoral candidate who dropped out of the race and endorsed Dunn 1 week before the election.
It just reinforces, everyone's beliefs that politicians are crooks or liars.
CBS 46 Investigates has since learned that candidates do not have to undergo background checks. A spokesperson for the Georgia Secretary of State's office said the municipal election superintendent shall determine if the candidate is qualified to seek and hold the public office. While the municipal election superintendent told me I'm not authorized to run criminal background checks. It's something that surprised Dr. Tammy Greer, a political science professor at Clark Atlanta University, who also offered a solution.
Could it be possible for candidates, particularly on the municipal level, to provide their own background checks when they are submitting their documents and their fees in order to be on the ballot?
There is one safeguard in place, though. This notice of candidacy and affidavit signed by Kirsten Dunn on August 20th, 2021, that says she has not been convicted of a felony involving moral turpitude. That's a crime done with evil intent. Her signature acknowledging that any false statement knowingly made by her will subject her to criminal penalties. It's likely that this is what the Secretary of State's office is now investigating. And as far as what happens next, Dr. Greer says this situation is much bigger than one candidate's actions.
It is critical that we get this process, get it under control, because how many other candidates may have violated this oath that we don't know about?
Now, we asked Kirsten Dunn for a follow-up interview to talk about our new findings, but she wouldn't agree unless we sent her our questions beforehand. And of course, that's something that we just don't do. Sean?
Rachel, any updates on those state investigations that you just mentioned, though?
Right. Well, the Secretary of State's office is still investigating those allegations that Dunn falsely swore she was eligible to run for office, while the Ethics Commission is looking into her failure to file campaign finance reports in a timely manner. Sean?
Rachel Polanski.
New developments tonight. A Georgia man is finally free after spending more than 20 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Devanya Inman walked out of prison yesterday into the arms of his family. Inman was convicted of killing a Taco Bell manager in Adel, Georgia. Christian Cribbs with the Georgia Innocence Project says there was no physical evidence tying him to that crime, and witness testimony was misleading.
You've got witnesses who will tell a story that implicates Devanya Inman, and then before trial even, or at trial, so all the way back in 1998, 1999, they told the police, well, I know that I said this, but actually that was a lie. And that happened with two different witnesses.
A decade after the conviction, a mask allegedly worn by Inman during the crime was tested. DNA matched a different man to that crime. The state overturned his conviction and all charges were dropped.
A crime alert tonight, and Kroger employees held at gunpoint, attacked, and even kidnapped. Cameras captured the armed suspect at the grocery store in Douglasville. That suspect is still at large tonight. CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy live in East Atlanta, where the kidnapping ended. Jamie.
Yeah, good evening, Rick. I spoke to an employee who said through that whole ordeal, she was pretty much praying the entire time. Police telling me that after the gunman robbed the employees, he took one of them at gunpoint down here to East Atlanta and jumped out on Candler Road. These are pictures of a man police need help finding who robbed employees at a Kroger in Douglasville and then kidnapped one of them at gunpoint.
We're very concerned that he's going to continue these types of crimes until someone is very seriously hurt.
Police say it happened at 2 a.m. on December 10th, the gunman gaining entry to the supermarket as an employee was stepping outside.
It's very possible that he had been watching for some time.
Police say he then rounded up 6 employees and proceeded to lock them up except one.
He took them into the back of the store in the receiving area, and there was a trailer backed up to a loading dock, and he forced all of them except for one into the truck.
I spoke to an employee who didn't want to go on camera. She tells me the gunman pistol whipped 2 employees before being locked up and kept shouting at all of them to give him the combination to the safe, but none of the employees knew that combination. She also says the gunman stole money and phones from all but one of the employees. The one who didn't hand over their phone was able to call police from inside the locked trailer.
It was definitely methodical. He had this planned out. We can tell by the actions he took.
The one employee the gunman didn't lock up was kidnapped, police say, and made to drive the man to East Atlanta, where the man jumped out of the car along Candler Road between Memorial and I-20. Police believe the same man is responsible for robbing a Papa John's pizzeria in late November at the same strip mall as the targeted Kroger. No one was injured during the robbery, but police say there's a disturbing pattern.
We're worried that he's going to commit another crime and hurt more people, and that's why we're offering a $10,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest in this case.
Police say that Kroger has been working with them on this case and even has added money to that reward. They also say that in both times that the man was robbing up there in Douglasville, they believe he came there on feet both times, and they're hoping anyone out there might recognize this man. Live in East Atlanta, Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46 News.
Thank you, Jamie. An iconic Atlanta restaurant expanding to another suburb. The Varsity will be opening a new location in Rome, according to the Rome News Tribune. The chain already has 6 locations, including the original that opened in 1928 on North Avenue in Atlanta. No word yet on when the new Rome location will open. Tonight, police in Athens are looking for the people who stole $100,000 from an ATM. This happened 4 days ago at the Georgia Credit Union on Gaines School Road. Police say once they showed up, they found the machine smashed and several of the cash drawers gone. And police believe the suspects used a stolen truck and chains to get the cash. If you have any information, you're asked to call Athens-Clarke County Police. A man wanted for a deadly hit and run in Gwinnett County is now in jail. This is Ernesto Pelayo, and he is accused of hitting and killing his brother-in-law in a fight at a Christmas party on Saturday. Pelayo then sped off. Henry County Police arrested him. He was transported to the Gwinnett County Jail. He is charged with murder.
Let's take a live look at Hartsfield-Jackson. The FAA says airline crews have reported more than 5,600 incidents involving unruly passengers, and more than 4,000 of the incidents reported in 2021 were mask-related. The agency usually investigates fewer than 200 incidents a year, and now flight attendants are urging the government to take action.
The biggest problem for flight attendants is that when there is inconsistency in communication, that puts us in harm's way because we are charged with enforcing that mask mandate.
The Association of Flight Attendants says changes are needed to stop the violent behavior on planes, including mandatory self-defense training, an industry-wide no-fly list for disruptive passengers, and an end of alcohol to-go cups at the airport. And at the same time, the holiday travel rush is only ramping up. The Transportation Security Administration says it screened more than 2 million people at airports nationwide for the 5th day in a row. The TSA anticipates 30 million people to travel by air through January 3rd, and 3.7 million travelers are expected to pass through Atlanta alone through January 4th. And you plan to travel out of town for the holidays? Contact Roswell Police. You can sign up for their free Vacation Watch service. Roswell police officers will routinely check on your home while you're away. There is a form you must fill out, which includes information about your home and how long you plan to be out of town. We do have a link on our website at CBS46.com.
Not a bad idea.
1 week after losing 5 members of her family, this grandmother has died from her injuries that she suffered in a devastating fire. 4 other family members survived the flames.
Such a sad story. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston joins us live. And Yasmina, this family, they have already had to deal with such loss, and now they have another funeral to plan.
Yeah, this has just been so tough for that entire family. The funerals for 5 of those family members will be this week on Thursday. And like you said, now they have to plan another funeral.
It's been a week since a house fire killed multiple family members in DeKalb County. A mother, her 2 daughters, and 2 uncles never made it out of this home on Janet Lane in Decatur. A family member confirmed to CBS 46 on Tuesday that the homeowner, Diane Regular, has also died from injuries. Regular was battling 2nd and 3rd degree burns at Grady Hospital. The DeKalb County Fire Department said the cause of the deadly blaze was undetermined due to extensive damage from the fire. A memorial continues to grow outside of the home as the family now prepares to bury their loved ones. The funerals for 5 of the victims will be on Thursday. One of the 4 survivors told CBS 46 recently that the tragedy has been unimaginable.
The time we made it out the house, because when we made it out the house, it was just still smoky. But by the time he went back in to try to get my sister and then came back out, and the whole house just went up in flames. It was scary. It was like happened in the blink of a second. If we would have never woke up, if I would have never smelled the smoke, ain't no telling what would happen.
And the viewing for 5 of the victims will be tomorrow from 12 to 8. The funerals will be on Thursday. And again, now they have to plan another funeral. All of that information can be found on our CBS 46 app. Reporting live in DeKalb County, Yasmina Alston, CBS 46 News.
Targeting Georgians looking for a job. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says the scam is posted to Facebook Marketplace. It is advertised as a work-from-home job opportunity for a business called Conduit Company, which is a real business. Now, if you're interested, you'll go through an interview. They'll promise to provide you equipment. You'll then be asked for all of your personal information, including banking numbers. From there, the scammers will start sending you fraudulent checks. To avoid becoming a victim, the sheriff says you should never give banking information over the phone or online unless you can confirm your employer is legitimate.
A Stockbridge family got quite the surprise today after receiving the keys to their brand new home.
Oh, that's exciting. CBS 46's Brooks Baptiste has the story of a single mother who now has a permanent base just in time for Christmas.
This mother knew she'd be getting a brand new home.
Oh my goodness.
But Shanika was shocked to see it fully furnished and decorated.
Everything I want is here.
A major step for this single mother of 3.
Because we always shared a home and we never had our own. We always had an apartment that we rented for somebody. This is our home. It's ours.
For the last 2 decades, Warwick Dunn Charities has worked to help single parents achieve their goal of first-time home ownership through its Home for the Holidays program.
Working on this program has really been more about how can we help position families to enjoy their holiday season, right? And to enjoy the fruits of their labor at the same time. They've worked for it. We just want to be able to help support them and push them forward.
The foundation surprised her with a $5,000 check for down payment assistance and $10,000 in furnishings.
We was living in the same bed and then they have their own space. They can do their own thing.
No longer forced to share the same common space, she's just glad they have a place to call home.
This is nothing but God. This is not my doing. I just been praying, and He answered my prayer.
Brooks Baptiste, CBS 46 News.
Thanks for watching CBS 46 News. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile and our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.